The ESPYs are tonight. McAfee and the boys are going to be there, and Shane Gillis is hosting. And in honor of the ESPYs, we're doing a segment called And the Winner Is. And we're back here at Get Up in New York on the other coast, and we're starting in the AFC North. Raz, your AFC North winner on July 16th is who?
Yeah, take it to the bank, right, on July 16th. Baltimore Ravens. I thought about Cincinnati. I kind of wanted to look for a reason to put them there. I don't like when, the repeats not as exciting. But I think Baltimore just looks loaded. And as long as Lamar Jackson is healthy, I think they're the best team in that division. Maybe on paper, the best team in the whole league.
Now, it's chalk to say Baltimore. They won it last year. Mike T, I like you went out on a limb here. Bengals, what do you say?
Yeah, look, I love Baltimore for the reasons Krause has said, but Cincinnati's going to score as much as anybody. We know that. And at some point, they're going to have to figure out Trey Hendrickson. Jamar Stewart is a first-round pick. He will be there. So the whole notion of we're going to get the lead with the passing game, Bill Walsh, the legendary coach, always talking about fourth-quarter pass rushes, something Cincinnati should be able to do, a young secondary that should get better. Look for them to win games early, Peter, in the 30s, and look for that defense to get better during the season.
New defensive coordinator Al Golden taking over that unit. Damien Woody, the NFC West. Good morning, West Coast. The NFC West winner is who?
Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
Yeah, I love where the Los Angeles Rams are at. Obviously with the addition of Devontae Adams to go with Puka Nacua and Tyree Williams, and obviously Matthew Stafford at the quarterback position. The offense is outstanding, and then defensively, I think they got the best young front seven in the National Football League, obviously led by, defensive rookie year, Jerry Verse. They got talent littered all over this roster, so for me, it's the Rams.
Mike T?
Yeah, I like the Rams as well. Very similar. I think, Stafford still has maybe a year or two left. We talked earlier about Devontae Adams with Puka Nacua, and that front seven, credit Leslie, they rebuilt that.
Drafted.
We're not even talking about Aaron Donald anymore. We're talking about Jared Verse, Brady Fisk. They've done a great job.
Love the Rams. They know what they're doing out there, no doubt about it. 49ers going to bounce back. This is a team that bottomed out last year because of injury, and a lot of the focus this offseason has been on who they lost. But they still have a lot of extremely good, extremely championship seasoned players on that roster. If you get back a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and it sounds like everything's good there, you get back a healthy Trent Williams, that changes the offense completely. Still a lot. I think the 49ers, and you look at the schedule, the way it sets up, I think the 49ers are in for a big year.
I think the big key for the 49ers, they got to get their edge back on defense.
Yeah.
They've been depleted, especially along the defense line. They brought back Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator again. They drafted heavy along the defensive line. If they can get their edge back up front on that side of the ball, then watch out for them.
3 of their first 4 draft picks were defensive linemen.
Yes.
This draft.
That tells you something about where they think they are.
It is. All right, the most competitive division in football last year was the NFC North. Again, it's July 16th. Plenty of football to talk about, but let's go some early outlets. Your NFC North winner, if you had to pick it today, Mike Tannenbaum.
Detroit Lions, Peter, let's not overcomplicate it. Look, there's going to be some issues about continuity and losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. But on offense, they still have Dan Campbell, an offensive-minded head coach, Mark Goodell, the quarterback coach. And they still have tons of weapons. They lost Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, Tate Ratledge, who's going to be a second-round pick. I think will be a plug-and-play player. So despite losing some players, they are the best team and they have the best coach.
Yeah, I go with the Lions as well. It is a great team. I think Green Bay, Minnesota, you can make a strong case for either. But the Lions have established something here. They came up short of their goal last year. I think they're hungry. I think Dan Campbell will use last year's early round playoff loss as motivation. And I think the Lions are still a cut above, especially with Aiden Hutchinson.
Clean sweep, Woody, or what?
Can I offer you the Minnesota Vikings?
Let's go!
I'm going out there with the Minnesota Vikings. And I know everyone's going to talk about J.J. McCarthy hasn't played a snap. Well, guess what? Kevin O'Connell let Sam Darnold walk out the door because that's how confident he is in J.J. McCarthy. There's not, in my opinion, a team with better infrastructure than maybe the Minnesota Vikings. They've improved along the offensive line. They've improved along the defensive line. We don't even need to talk about the weapons that they have, and they have an elite play caller as their head coach. I'm going out and I'm saying the Minnesota Vikings.
Peter, to Damien's point, Greeny's great line of sneaky big news. They go out, they sign Will Freeze, Ryan Smith, and then Ryan Kelly, and they draft Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. What a great way to help a young quarterback to keep that pocket firm. So I agree. I think Kevin O'Connell will do a great job. They're just going to come up a little bit.
All right, I see Jayden McCarthy, and I think of him meditating on the goalpost, the long hair, and the aloe clothes, and the whole thing. You haven't seen him play football.
Correct.
Yet at college he was so efficient, and Harbaugh spoke the world of him. What are you hearing on Jayden McCarthy in Minnesota?
That everything is positive. First of all, health-wise, which was the key. He's coming off a significant injury. The progress he's made as a thrower this offseason, they've been happy with in terms of sort of modulating his throws, not throwing everything at full speed. That in the locker room, his presence is a welcomed one, and people enjoy being around him. So I think it's full steam ahead for J.J. McCarthy. The concern level of they let Sam Darnold walk and they're going to J.J. McCarthy. It's Sam Darnold. It's not. They didn't let Josh Allen walk, right? They did. They won 14 games last year with Sam Darnold. If we were sitting here this time last year saying, well, if Sam Darnold plays every game for the Vikings this year, how many games are they going to win? I don't think anybody would have said 14.
I mean, think about this. The division wasn't even decided until week 18 between the Lions and the Vikings. So,
well, by the way, the Packers had the youngest roster in the league and made the playoffs. So, yeah.
One thing about J.J. McCarthy, though, he's foul tested. I think for a lot of their practices over the last couple of years, look, he led them to a national championship. So, again, it's on a whole other level, but they may be ready to go. It's a Jim Harbaugh coach, Michigan national champion quarterback, and that's what they have in J.J. McCarthy.
It's interesting. We're talking about these three teams. You mentioned the Packers, youngest team in football, who went to the playoffs and did so. And if they had beaten the Eagles, who knows what would have happened after that wild card round. We haven't mentioned the Bears. The Bears have the first overall pick. They totally revamped the coaching staff. They brought in all these different skill position players and a new offensive line. Year two for Caleb Williams. Is it too soon to say, okay, dude, let's go?
I think it's too soon to say that in terms of are they a contender in this particular brutally tough division. I think you want to see significant strides from Caleb Williams this year in terms of you have to become a franchise quarterback and all that comes with that. And I think if you see that by the end of this year, even if they are not a playoff team, then I think you have to be happy about it going into 2026.
Dan, I got to push back. He doesn't need to be a franchise quarterback. He needs to hit singles and doubles. I don't, but he was sacked 68 times, and he just has to keep the ball in the fairway, which was a real problem a year ago. Eliminate the negative plays. Ben Johnson, somebody I know really well, I worked with in Miami. He is a rules and fundamentally based coach. He is going to try to drill that out, and we talked yesterday about how he wants to escape the pocket, the back, which you hate as an offensive tackle. He has a million miles to go to be a franchise